Hello, image design students. This is Mrs. Brown, and this is the part 2 video of your Unit 9 project. So to be using this video, you should have completed part 1, the part 1 video, where you added a foreground image or a character to a background. Okay, so if you haven't done that, please review part 1. So we'll continue working with this comic image. And now we're going to add a talking bubble. So in the layer menu, we're going to click Layer, New Layer, and you'll see a new layer appear. Here we're going to make sure we have transparency selected, and we're going to click OK. And now we have our layer, our new layer over here. And we're going to rename it as Talk Bubble. Okay, now with the ellipse tool, so over here in our toolbox, hover over, you'll see the ellipse tool. We're going to click and drag to draw a circle or an oval selection. So keep in mind that what you're drawing now is a talking bubble. So you want to consider the size as you draw this. Okay, now we're going to select the Paths tool. So hover over until you find the Paths tool. Looks like this right here. Now in the image window, you're going to click once inside the selection, so whatever your oval is, once outside the selection, and then once more inside the selection. And what we're doing is we're going to create a little point to point to like our character's mouth. So if you read comics that are talking bubbles, usually point to the person that is speaking. So once inside the bubble, once outside the bubble, and then once back inside the bubble. Okay, so now you're going to click and drag the point to where it's pointing at the foreground image character. Now in the top dot, you're going to click the Paths tab to select it. So here's the top dot, and you can see this right here is our Paths tab. Now in the Paths list, you're going to right click the top path and then click Add to Selection. Now you're going to select the Bucket Fill tool over in your toolbox. We're then going to click our foreground color button, and we're going to change the color to a color that will stand out on the background. So we're going to be filling in this talking bubble with color. So choose a color that you will be able to see. So I'm going to choose something like this. In the bucket fill tool options, we're going to click and drag the opacity slider till about 50 or 60. This will make it a little more transparent, and it doesn't want to drag for me today. So somewhere between 50 and 60. If you don't want to change the opacity, you don't have to, but this will sometimes allow the text to be seen better. So now in the image window, you're going to go ahead and click inside this selection to fill it with color. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save our changes here. And I'm going to go back to my layers list. So here I'm going to select the text tool. So in your toolbox, the capital A is our text tool. So here I am going to change the color of my text to whatever color I like, but I'm going to go back to black. And now I'm going to click inside my talking bubble. And then there's also going to be a GIMP text editor box that will pop up to help us make some changes. So here you can adjust the size, the font, and you can also do those things down here in the tool options. So choose a font you'd like. A color and a size that you would like. And type anything you would like, whatever you think fits the caption of this character. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to happen. Okay. That's not working for me. Okay. It's not allowing me to select my dialog box here. I'm just going to simply type "Hey there." And once you have it like how you want it, you'll go ahead and click close in your dialog box. I can't pull mine over. Maybe you can. I'll just go ahead and click on a different tool to finish that out. Okay, we're going to go ahead and save our changes. And pause from here. Okay, so to finish up the project, once you have your text how you want it, we're going to be pretty much finishing up with the project. So let's say you're like, you click out on your background image, you can see how the text looks, and you don't really like it, you want to make some changes. You'll simply come back to your text layer, and you can just double click on the text here. We got to get back to our text tool, apologize there, and highlight it. And then you can make any changes over here using the tool options. Let's say that you want to justify it left, center, right, or you want to change the size or the color. You can make any of those changes over here in the tool options. And so as an example, let's say I want to increase the size. Notice that it doesn't fit in my talk bubble, so I'm actually going to go back. I want it to fit in my talk bubble. But let's say I want to change the color to a blue. I can do that, and you'll notice that my text would change blue, but I'm actually going to go back to black. So that's where you would go ahead and make your changes. So once you have the text how you like it, you can go ahead and click out on the image window back to the background layer to so you can view the text. So now here the project is finished. This is our single panel comic, but I'm going to make one change. I like it, but I think I actually want my character to be a little bit smaller. So I can continue to make those changes. Just go ahead and go back to my foreground layer. You don't have to do this. This is something I'm just choosing to do. And I'm going to click my scale tool again, making sure this is locked. And I'm going to scale her to be just a hair smaller to kind of fit in the bit of that mountain a little differently here. Move her around. Just as so. I'm going to actually move my talking bubble over here, and then I'll need to actually move, whoops, it's going to grab my background. hide my background. And now I'll move my text, which is a little bit tricky, isn't it? There we go. Now I can turn back on my background layer and I have it more how I want it. Now I'll go ahead and save my project and you are done with your comic. Now remember, for every single unit, you must complete 2 projects. So this is just one comic. You will need to repeat the process from video 1 and video 2 to create your second comic. You'll repeat everything using a different background and a different foreground image to create a second single panel comic. So I'm going to start another project here. So you'd open up a background image, you'd open up another foreground image, you'd repeat the steps from video 1 and video 2. When you're all complete and you have a second comic that looks like this, you would then be ready to submit. So I'm going to name this comic 2. Now mine is not finished. Yours will be finished. This is just an example to show you how you're going to go ahead and submit your project. So when you have comics 1 and comics 2 fully complete, you'll go to your image design folder, your course resource files. You'll check in your Unit 9 folder to make sure that you have your comic 1 and comic 2 complete. You'll then go back and you're ready to zip up your Unit 9 folder. Simply right click, send to, compressed zipped folder, and you have your new Unit 9 folder right here all ready to submit. So if we go into the image design class, we can click on tools, assignments, and then scroll down to our Unit 9 assignment, where you can then check the rubric to see how you'll be graded for both images, and then you're ready to add a file. You can simply then click and drag your unit, whoops, no, I don't want all that, your Unit 9 folder, and once it's loaded 100%, you can add it, and then you will click submit. I'm not going to click submit because I don't want to grade my own work, and you are done. So that concludes the Unit 9 project. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, come to a help time, or schedule a one-on-one.